more than allowed to laugh. C.S. Lewis said, all truth is God's truth, and sometimes truths are funny. So they're all just amazing, creative people. We're celebrating God's gift of creativity at this chapel. I'm so thankful for each one of them. Their talent is just amazing, as you will hear in a minute. So let's pray. Dear God, thank you so much for this chapel. Thank you for chapel time when we can come to you and be thankful to you and worship you. Thank you that you allow us to be creative because we're made in your image. I just pray that you bless them to do the best that they can this morning. And thank you for your gift of abundance, and part of that is creativity. It's in your generous name I pray. Amen. Enjoy the show.
Okay, thank you all for coming. I've called this meeting so we can decide what our VBS theme is going to be this year. Let's see, is everyone here? We've got Nabi, the president of the Christian Women's Society, and General Miss Manners. And has anyone seen Olivia, our church treasurer?
Present and accounted for.
Great. And I see Anna, the church librarian, and Savannah, and Rosalie, and Stacia, our Bible study leader. And I see Haley, our local artist, too. Who else is here? We've got Lydia, the English professor at our local college. And, let me introduce my little sister, Anne, and her friend, Hero. Great. Before our meeting gets underway, let's put our orders in at the coffee shop.
Whoa, cool group. Welcome to Kyle's Hippy Dippy Sippy. What you drinking?
Thank you, young man. Manners dictate that you start with the oldest member and work your way down.
Sounds groovy.
That would be me. And the fact that I'm the holiest one here probably works in my favor, too. I would like the most pious coffee you have.
Whoa, I never judge coffee or people. It's all chill, you know?
No, I do not know. The hell as I can get.
Iced white and chill it is. Next.
Let's see. I love monkeys. Do you have anything that just shouts jungle?
No way. I love monkeys in the jungle too. Mother Earth, man, I dig it. I don't have a monkey latte, but what about a chunky monkey frappuccino?
Perfect.
Next.
Let's see. Counting in descending order, I calculate that I'm next. Money is important, young man, and I want every dime I spend to count.
Hey, whatever floats your number boat. We're not Starbucks. How about an Americano?
Yes, that will do.
Next.
Do you have something that speaks to the artist in all of us?
You mean like Leonardo, Michelangelo, Caravaggio, anything that ends in O?
Funny. Really, what would you suggest?
A famous artist. How about a Kim Kardashian white chocolate mocha?
Nope, she's not an artist. You were right the first time. Just give me something that ends in O.
Daddy-O. Groovy. Next.
I believe that's me. I'd like a cappuccino in a china cup with a saucer and a napkin underneath. Thank you, Kyle, dear. And fix your hat. It seems to be on backwards.
No problem. Next.
Yes, I'd like a black phantom frappuccino with dark black sprinkles.
Halloween and April vibes, dude. Next.
Let's see. Do you have coffee specially made for book lovers?
Did you know that we have a secret Harry Potter menu? How about a butterbeer frappuccino?
Excuse me, but did someone over there say beer?
Calm down, Stacia. He didn't mean beer. I'll just take a Cinderella latte. It reminds me of the first book I ever loved.
You got it. Next.
Okay, let me think. Do I want something hot or cold? What's the weather doing out there? Do I want whipped cream or not?
Hey, chill out. I'll wait till you decide.
I mean, I love lattes, but I don't think I need any more caffeine right now.
Probably true.
Just choose for me.
Okay.
No, wait. Should I get white or black? I can't decide.
How about a black and white mocha? It's both.
Oh my gosh, thank you. You're a lifesaver.
Hey, easiest rescue I ever had. And we'll make that one a decaf. Next.
I'll order for myself and my little sister. And what do you want?
Oh, I'll get whatever you're getting.
I think you're a little too young for coffee. We'll have one iced latte for me and a child temperature steamer for her. Thank you.
Oh, I love steamers.
I know. Hero, what sounds good to you?
Going home so I can play Fortnite.
No, I mean, what drink sounds good to you?
Whatever.
Oh, we're all out of whatever. Ran out first thing this morning.
Ha, ha, ha. I guess I'll take a hot chocolate.
Okay. Big order, but that's okay. I'll catch you later.
All right, as the director of children's education and music, let's call this meeting to order. Now, you may be wondering why I'm the director of 2 programs, and the answer is I'm just really, really, really good at directing. So, I've asked you here to be thinking about themes about this year's summer VBS, and I want to hear your ideas. I'll start with my little sister.
Oh, this is so exciting. I love Bible school. I was thinking our theme could be love. You know, the kids could write their names on little heart-shaped name tags, and we could teach them all about God's love.
Well, if we teach them about love, at least don't mention weddings. I hate weddings. I hate weddings. I hate the pompous flowers, peonies, garden roses, and baby's breath, suffocating my lungs with pollen and cheer. I hate the cheesy signs in every little nook of the rustic barn venue Becky found on some young bride's Facebook group. I hate the poofy dresses lathered in beads and the lacy veils practically dripping pearls, the bursting bouquets and drooping boutonnieres. I hate weddings, not because I hate happiness, but because the wedding industry hates budgets and wants my bank account to drain itself for the sake of their money-stealing schemes. So what if I don't want to spend $3,000 on a dress I will wear once, or $500 on flowers that will probably wilt by the end of the first course of overpriced appetizers? People get married all the time. It's not like they'll run out of customers. I take back my first statement. I don't hate weddings. However, I now know why people elope.
That was beautiful, Haley. But weddings can be so orderly, though. And love is so nice when it's mannerly. Let's teach them no public displays of affection. That's really not nice. I mean, I can't even think about the couches in the PVG lobby.
And don't get so carried away with love that you forget to teach them Bible verses. It's okay to talk about love, but you better throw in a lesson or two about damnation to even things out.
Ah, yes. We could have a dark and dreary lesson day and make them little rope licorice bracelets out of black licorice. We could tie them around their little wrists so they look
Okay, that does not sound nice or manly. I think we should teach them how to behave in church so they can sit still and listen to the sermons. I think we should teach them about Mary's sister Martha. She is a model of domestic propriety.
My mother taught me so much. I have a poem about it. It was my mother who taught me how to smile at a boy to get his attention, how to season spaghetti so it doesn't taste like tomatoes, how to shrug when the dog chews on the table legs and the kids leave trails of sap and pine needles on the staircase. She showed me how to dip my hands into the earth and pull out potatoes, peppers, carrots, and onions. She showed me how to read until my eyes fall out, and how to smile gracefully when Becky complains about our roses, and how to make 3 meals and clean the house with a cold. In the end, she taught me how to be her daughter.
Okay, I mean, it's nice being nice, but even though I have the attention span of a newt, I know, at least I think I know, that there has to be something better we can teach them at VBS.
If we do not teach them about manners, they're just going to run around the church like little monkeys.
Monkeys! That's just what I was thinking about. Maybe we could have a jungle theme.
Dude, I love monkeys too. Monkeys, jungles, Mother Nature, Mother Earth. Right on, dude.
Thanks, Kyle. Hannah, I actually have a story I wrote about a little monkey. The kids might like it. Monkey on the move. Deep in the jungle, there lived a monkey named Shelby. and a very unsatisfied monkey she was. Whatever she got, she wanted something better. She'd been living in the snug hollow of a banana tree, but one day she woke up tired of it and called her friend Greg, the real estate monkey. "I need something less cramped," she said. Within the hour, Greg found for her a spacious cave, complete with shelves to stack flowers and baskets of vegetables on. But not a week later, Shelby called again. "I need something with more air," she said. So, Greg found for her a cozy beachside hut with seashells on the wall and plenty of windows to let the breeze in. Soon, though, Shelby got restless again. "I need something with a better view," she said. So before long, she'd been given a lovely 2-story loft at the tippy top of a coconut tree. However, the next night, just as she began longing for something even better, a storm blew up. The gale created winds that blew the roof off the loft house. Shelby scampered down the tree and took cover in the beach hut, but soon the waves had washed over it. Soaking wet, Shelby ran to the cave, but it was full of pinchy crabs who'd been scared by the storm. So, without thinking twice, Shelby held a palm leaf over her head and ran all the way back to her safe little hole in the banana tree, shutting the door behind her. Perhaps, she thought, what I have is just fine.
Oh my, monkeys just sound messy. Messy, just messy.
Let's focus on Bible school, okay? As church treasurer, I need to remind you we don't want to spend too much money on this. A jungle theme sounds expensive. How about we teach the kids about important numbers in the Bible? We could call it Count for Jesus.
I kind of like that idea. I think, because numbers are so unconfusing. 1 + 1 = 4. Such a relief.
Anyway, we could teach them about the 7 days of creation, about the 40 days and nights of rain.
All those people drowned because of S-I-N, sin.
And we could give them sugar cookies cut out like numbers.
Ooh, I love cookies and numbers.
I love numbers too. I love them so much, I wrote a poem about wishing I was an accountant. I would rather be an accountant. I've learned to lie if it's interesting enough, to string words on wire coated in clay and mud. As an accountant, my only liability would be hours hunched over digits rather than images carouseling through my mind. Work I live with, sleep beside, chew on. I would rather master equations than be a slave to stories I never wanted to read. I would deal in bonds, but not the familial kind. Profit, but not from conflict resolution. Value, but not the moral kind. Expenses, but not the ones that result from an Achilles heel. My yes would be yes, and my no, no. And no one would ask me for stronger synonyms or to explain my conclusion in 300 words, double-spaced MLA style.
I would rather be playing Fortnite.
I love Fortnite.
And you love everything. It's a little ridiculous.
Hey, love is groovy, man.
I don't love numbers. I hate numbers, ever since I was scarred by that high school math teacher. A dedication to my math teacher. The only, and I mean only thing I detest more than math is you. You know that saying a lot. I used to think it was my own fault for failing math until I took a college course. Remember all the tests I failed in your wretched 8 a.m. class? I didn't fail a single one in college. I finished the course with a solid 89.98%. I'm not going to round up, because we both know you never did. I'm so relieved that I never have to deal with your rotting coffee breath. I have nothing to thank you for, but I want to add to this rant. Thank you for limiting the amount of scholarships I received, all because you refused to let me pass with a D. P.S. You look like a hippo.
I am going to need to teach her some manners.
It makes me sad to hear anyone complain about a math teacher. Numbers, they're so beautiful.
So are books.
Yeah, guys, can we focus on VBS themes, please? So far, we have suggestions for manners, numbers, monkeys, and can someone remind me why we're making black licorice rope bracelet handcuffs for the children?
Because they would be so very cool. Why don't we teach them how to really be themselves? Why don't we ask them to bare their souls? In a Bible way, of course. I have a poem about that. Names are polyester mittens from your grandma, one of a kind, but itchy and ill-fitting. Destinies are your father's patchwork scarf wound tightly around your neck in bands of autumn flannel. Genetics are your mother's heirloom locket that ties you to the bottom of the bottle. Memories are your brother's Scooby-Doo pajamas, so tight you can't move your arms. Shed them all, undress, lose who you were. This is Eden's afterbirth. We all go naked here.
Did she just say naked? That is definitely not mannerly.
Whoa, chill out, dude. It's all good. God loves our bodies.
And I love every single one of my freckles. I wrote a poem about them. Brown kisses left by the sun across the bridge of my nose, a spotted constellation constructed of balmy August memories. They remind me of freedom from 12 a.m. deadlines and the tang of blackberry cobbler eaten on the back porch, surrounded by an orchestra of lovesick frogs. When I see them, I see Pippi Longstocking, and suddenly I'm sailing Swedish seas, freckles sprouting by the multitude as swords clash to fend off lunatic pirates under the fierce sun. Yesterday, my neighbor Linda asked to borrow a freckle. I gave her a penny instead. Some things are just too precious to lose. I'll count my freckles 2 by 2 before I go to bed tonight, just to be sure that one wasn't sniffed out by this morning's pilfering rain.
This is starting to sound more like the Dr. Phil show than Bible school.
I agree. At least my mother taught me some manners. I actually wrote a poem about that. No slouching, no cursing, no whining, no yelling, no dark colors in the day, no light colors at night. But what if? No buns, no buts, no ifs, no speaking unless addressed, no feelings unless asked. A lady must never cross her legs, only her ankles, especially when wearing a skirt. And then, nothing too tight, nothing too loose. No shoes too high, no shoes too loud. How about no interrupting and never be opinionated? No one cares. It's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and yes, sir, no, sir. But what if, are you listening? Never look down when talked to. Understood? Yes, ma'am. Now go, change, and act like a lady.
Bless your soul. My mother taught me the same. Look both ways before you cross the road, or you'll get run over by a car, squished like a bug. The last thing you want is to faceplant in someone's windshield. Wear your coat, you'll get pneumonia. You'll be in bed for a month, sick with the fever, like the old people. Go with a friend, don't go by yourself. You never know who will walk the streets or haunt the shadows at night, ready to jump out at you. Drive careful, text me when you get there, so I know you've made it, so I know you didn't plow into the ditch somewhere along the road to Brownsville. And so I look both ways, wear my coat, go with a friend, and drive carefully so I don't faceplant someone in my windshield.
I am all for safety, but we're talking about VBS. The theme for VBS?
The best way to teach kids about the Bible is to use art. Coloring, collage, it's all for God's glory.
Oh, I love to color. Grow up.
Hero, be nice.
Seriously, our creativity comes because we're made in God's image. My mom taught me about art when I was little. Just like what Kyle said earlier about loving ourselves, my mom taught me that through art. My mother walks me through my portrait. Now, Haley B., sit down with me and we will go through this together. First, we need a mirror. You know you'll need to do this yourself one day. Take it and place it like so. There. See how your pretty face looks back at you? Now let's take a brush, yes, that one will do, and choose a color. Let's do daffodil, morning sunshine, water flickering with koi fish on the lake bottom gold, just like that streak there in your hair. And brush it gently, gently along this line. That will be your forehead. See the shine? Just like your future hails. It will be all shimmery. See how it looks like a crown? A beautiful girl like you needs a crown, one with pearls and emeralds and amethysts. No, no, no. No black, no gray. Don't even think of touching those colors. Look at happy things like roses and hummingbirds and fresh bread. You can paint those things behind your head if you'd like, but no shadow. The world provides that on its own. See how the light falls on the canvas? Shadows come at every corner. We provide the gold. You want some forest green in there? How about we use that for your eyes? Just 2 little dots. There, vibrant. Just like your future, Hales. Don't let the shadows get in the way too soon.
Oh, I love that poem.
I love it too. At least I think I do. I mean, I wish I could.
Make up your mind.
I love it because it ends with the idea of the shadow. And when I think shadow, I think Gothic.
Oh, Gothic is really cool. I mean, I think it's really cool since I'm a Christian.
It's not okay. Not at all.
Of course it is. God knows that not every one of our days is filled with sunshine and daisies.
Well, that's good, because I wrote a poem about some of my professors here that, I mean, I think, to me, can seem pretty Gothic. I think Corban is a Gothic simulation. I admit this sounds absurd, but I have been gathering evidence. 1, how many universities do you hear of in an old tuberculosis hospital? A little bit suspiciously, morbidly niche, don't you think? 2, those weird dark shapes in the halls could be ghosts, or they could be in-game glitches. Who knows? Either way. 3, it has snowed profusely lately. Unusual for this part of Oregon and for this time of year, and particularly interestingly timed since Dr. Tennant has us reading A Christmas Carol. Coincidence? I'm growing less certain with every flake. 4, Dr. Tennant has openly admitted to utilizing hypnosis on other children as a young girl. This is such an absurdity of childhood slumber parties. It can only be generated to make the in-game world building more dimensional. 5, Dr. Stark has limited canon backstory known to the audience. The mysterious, but we know he worked in a psych ward. The morbid. This is a very Gothic mixture. 6, our mascot is a person. No, not like you're thinking. It's a person dressed as a person. Overt doppelganger imagery. 7, there are literal secret passages and tunnels here. At this point, the thematic elements are writing themselves. 8, potential irony of nomenclature. Dr. Stark's office is almost entirely undecorated and empty. Dr. Tennant's is decorated, homey, eclectic. Stark, barren, Tennant, lived in. Concern intensifies on all fronts. Further research pending. After picking up that unmarked letter anonymously left for me at the mailroom, I seem to be developing a mysterious illness and a bout of melancholia.
Melancholia. I haven't heard that word since I was reading Poe.
Finally, someone else mentioned a book.
Dude, Savannah's story is creepy.
It's darkly gorgeous. Reminds me of a poem I wrote. A white whale of trust slips into the night. My eyes blur with salt. I try to focus on the kind hands touching mine as a red herring leers in the watery looking glass. I lock my history in a diving helmet, the copper stitches smiling, a shield made from the gaps in my armor. I play pretend at gardening seagrass souls, death's little assistant. I cultivate the tangled, grasping fingers of need in hopes that someone will thank me for the inky harvest. I grew up landlocked. Why is my heart ocean-shaped? Steady bare feet in sopping mud. My pores ooze tired into the sucking sand.
What's this got to do with the Bible? I'm getting so tired of poems. Another poem. Here's your prompt. Take it and run. I melt in my chair and lock the groan away. Why must we circle around and around the words arranged just so? Again. No cliches. Be specific. I roll my chair closer to the table with a bang. I wonder what in the world got into my head. Whose brilliant idea was it that being an English major would be fun? That line's too poetic. I frown and barely restrain from throwing my hands up in the air. Isn't this supposed to be poetry? How can you be too poetic? I huff and pout and glare at the taunting, blinking line on my empty Word doc. Mama always said not to hate. Okay, fine. Then I have an extreme dislike for overanalyzing why the poet wrote about eating spaghetti for dinner. Maybe the strand symbolized her messy life, or maybe pasta deeply impacted her life, or no, maybe she just ate spaghetti for dinner. Maybe it was all that came to mind when forced to write another poem.
I will echo what Stacia just said. What does any of this have to do with the Bible? We're getting off topic. Again, can we please focus?
As a tree-hugging hippie barista, I'd like to suggest trees. Teach the kids about trees in the Bible. The cedars of Lebanon, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, the fig tree. You could teach them that parable.
Did you know the Fibonacci sequence shows up in trees?
Maybe we could teach them the Giving Tree. Such a great children's book.
For a hippie, Kyle knows a lot about the Bible.
Yeah, I do. I'll read you a poem I wrote about trees called Concerto for the Woods. We live in a world of sounds that beg to be heard. The metallic plea of a spoon trapped in the unforgiving blades of a dishwasher. The groans of on-ramps compressed by an arguing family's U-Haul. The dull hum of streetlights always on too early or too late. Out of the din of the industrial oasis, the flood of rustling and clicking ants is interrupted by the melodic whisper of roots clawing at mud. A funeral procession of does sobbing is duetted by an off-tempo woodpecker.
I love it when a poem mentions a funeral procession.
Monkeys love trees, and so do I. I have a poem about an old apple tree I loved when I was a kid. It knows me. The apple tree in front of my house knows what stories I listen to while raking, how often I pet the cat I'm not supposed to, and how well I climb the carport wall that I pretend is the ledge of a cavern. It knows how many shovelfuls of snow I take to clear the driveway, how many times I've begun my bike ride going up the street instead of down, and who I've kissed next to the lilac bush. We still exchange grown-up smiles for apple-blossomed ones. While I use scratchy pens to write letters home, it remains there, stationary and full of daydreams.
Hey, I could teach the VBS kids how to draw trees. That's pretty easy.
Oh, I love poems about trees. You know, your poems are all good, but my sister Hannah wrote my favorite poem about a tree. Could you read it?
Just for you. Pine Tree Nocturne. I have grown tired of pine trees, pale at night, whispering secrets behind needle-sharp fingers, their resin-filled wounds oozing sweet in the shadow dips of forest, questioning owls lodged deep in their branches. I have grown tired of the wind and its tricks, the way it twists between my feet in the path, child's laughter, an endless game of cat's cradle until I can't move, tangled in wishes musty with October. I have grown tired of the almost wild, the almost tame.
Okay, am I the only one confused about a nocturne? Are they happy or sad or romantic or what?
Oh, I hope they're romantic. Kind of like the poem I wrote about when my mom and dad first built our house. House of Remember. Every morning, 7 plump raisins and a pat of butter appear like magical creatures in the sea of oatmeal bowls. At bedtime, the Jesus is my rock nightlight is flicked on as the lights go out. Remember, it scares away the monster that lives under the bed. Robinson Crusoe is dog-eared on the table as dress-up clothes lay shipwrecked in piles on the carpet. Chapter 3's pirate attack was last night's showing on the living room stage. I remember the day you pounded the last nail into our cedar roof and flung your hammer to the late September ground. Your arms wrapped tightly around me, I can hear your whisper, "This is ours to remember."
Okay, don't get too excited about romance. I mean, love sounds good until the rejection and the heartbreak and the breakups. There's lots of ways to lose your heart, and they all sound scary. Let this be a warning to you. Heartless. Hello? It must have slipped out from between my ribs when I wasn't looking. I should have known not to let it out of the jar, but it looks so sad in there, steaming up the glass. Each beat propels it over the dirt, pulsing along a moist trail in its wake, sliding over moss and mud. Beat, scoot, beat, scoot. What are you doing all the way out here? I reached to lift it, pine needles stuck to its dampness. Compressed in my palm, it throbs and squirms. It doesn't care for that. It squelches, struggles, slips free of my grasp, plops hard on the leaves. Beat, scoot, beat, scoot. It continues as though I'd never picked it up. A breath trembles off my lips. This time I kneel to lift it. You're not safe out here. I lay my palm in its path. The next beat oozes it onto my hand. Sticky, slimy, incorrigible thing. It hasn't been listening to reason lately. You see, he smiled at me the other day. It's been trying to escape ever since.
Beat, scoot. A heart thumping across the ground. So amazingly dark.
Makes me glad I'm only a Bible thumper. My heart is right where it should be.
Yeah, that poem will never be made into a children's book.
Yeah, although if it was, I'd really like to illustrate it.
Okay, guys, we are so far off the topic. I feel like I'm trying to wrangle a bunch of rule breakers.
We don't tolerate rule breakers in the library.
We're all rule-breaking sinners. It's in the Bible.
Why do I always have to be the one that's in charge? Why can't I break the rules sometimes? Actually, I read a poem about that. Rule breakers. Who says we have to start with a capital letter? A golden statue that heralds the arrival of 3 traitors with locked knees, the wind-rush breath of hot smoke curling insistently between their not-quite-shaking fingers, as declarations of zithers shiver and wane beneath pointed minaret fingers that poke holes in the night, and all questions become answers, become stars.
Rule breaking is not a good idea, especially the rules of etiquette. And yet, I've had my rebellious side come out in poetry as well. I'll read you a poem about it. I would rather step on a green Lego in the dark while trying to get to my bed on a morning night after a full body workout. I would rather explain how to change the input on the TV for the DVR over the phone to my mother. I would rather bite into a raw onion as if it were a crisp green apple accompanied by a nice tall glass of vinegar. Yes, I would rather do all of these things and more just to avoid speaking up in class and embarrassing myself as everyone looks at me when I say the wrong thing.
Well, I hope the theme of our Bible school is not rule breaking, unless every lesson focuses on how rule breaking is a sin.
Hey, I've got another idea. What if your theme was just Mother Nature? Then you could still include trees.
And monkeys.
And you could talk about our sin nature.
No, I'm talking wild nature. I have a poem about that. An epilogue. Along a rocky beach somewhere west of Indiana, a once living whale died. An oblong theater was formed inside the ribcage, and of course, all of the actors were birds. They put on the works of Shakespeare, Arthur Miller, even some avant-garde pieces by Ivan Goll, but their critical acclaim was lacking, to say the least. You see, the only audience they had were infant turtles and the crabs that wanted to eat them. Stories of make-believe, life and death are often paled by the experience itself. To bring in more patrons, the plucky dodo decided and suggested to the ibis, the swan, and the pelican that they should make the plays more lifelike. So, at the end of Act 3 of All My Sons, the crustaceans paused their midnight meal as their stagnant eyes filled with tears. In the hollow of a broken whale, the last dodo was dragged off stage left.
No. No. No, no. The theme of our BBS cannot be dead dodos.
Is it time to go yet?
Oh dear, yes. I guess it is. We're gonna have to decide the theme of our BBS next week, I guess. Meanwhile, someone, maybe Lydia, is gonna have to teach me how to make those licorice rope bracelets.
Those licorice bracelets. We'll work them in no matter what.
Okay, then. Well, please, everyone, leave Kyle a big tip. It is good manners.
Whatever we decide, I'm sure the kids will love it.
Okay, but how do we know what anyone really likes ever really?
They'll love the art at least.
And they'll just adore the books.
And the counting.
They've actually taught monkeys how to count.
That's so rad. We all count in God's eyes. Figure out a way to teach the kids that in VBS, and they'll peace out.
Thanks for coming, guys. Happy Monday. You are dismissed.
Take it.